Your hunting rifle is not the most important item in your inventory. One concept is miles more critical, and it doesn't matter if you're new to hunting or a seasoned hand. Do you want to avoid being the hunter with all the gear and no idea? In that case, this is a must-watch video. Welcome to the Red Kettle channel. This is where you get updates on product development and tips and tricks for efficient hunting. Today, it's all about the number one item in your virtual hunting gear bag. Hand on heart, I've built up a back catalogue of mistakes throughout my career as a hunter. After almost 30 years of hunting on 3 continents, there's been plenty of opportunities to do that. I will stress that none of them were related to safety, but all of them were enough to make me feel and look like a fool. Don't know about you, but I don't particularly like that. Furthermore, I believe hunting is a force of good in nature when done right. So this is not just about me, it's a bigger perspective which just makes my mistakes worse. One of my tools for getting hunting right is what I refer to as efficient hunting. And the purpose of this method or framework is twofold: to do the right things and do them with less wasted effort and money. Back to my mistakes. I can probably count on one hand cases where a hunting mistake was down to faulty or inadequate gear. And even in those cases, I was the guy who brought it, or the guy who didn't check it properly. My mistakes were mostly based on my execution of each step in the hunt and the way I operated that gear. So on that note, do you recognize any of the following 3 scenarios from your own hunting adventures? Sometimes I got carried away and rushed a new piece of gear on a hunt. I'd not embedded it properly in my standard operating procedures. Big mistake. 2, occasionally I had not planned and prepared properly. This meant I had too much going on in my mind, so I dropped the ball and made rookie mistakes. 3, in other cases I skipped critical steps in the field or didn't execute them properly because I didn't have a crystal clear checklist. Do you see where I'm going? Your most important tool as a hunter is not the gear you bring, but how you use it. In broad terms, it's your method for planning, preparing and executing. Great, I could wrap the video up now, but I'm all about action, and I think you are too. Saying what you need to do and why is not enough. We can do better than that. And here's the simple solution to successful preparation, planning and execution. Standard Operating Procedures, SOP. I've talked about efficient hunting in general terms in the past, including the universal 6-phase hunting process. Overall, efficient hunting will give you a lattice work to hang knowledge and skills off. Standard Operating Procedures give you the actionable detail. There are 3 main ways to use the SOP depending on where you are in the hunting cycle and where you are in your career as a hunter, or 3 benefits. I'll get back to them later. Let's first run through the summary SOP. I will say that we will only scratch the surface here, because nested with each step in the SOP is another SOP. It's a microstructure that ultimately will tell you each specific action. If you're looking for more detail on the SOP, I've got something for you at the end of the video. First things first. Here's the hunting process. The 6 phases are move, find, getting range, set up, shoot and follow up. If you hunt for a tree stand or from a hide, steps 1 to 4 are prep work. On the day of your hunt, you might check your shooting positions, but otherwise you go straight to the shoot phase when you see the animal. If you hunt on foot, stalking deer or other animals, you go through all 6 steps on the day. You'll often scout in advance, but that's a whole other topic. More on that another time. Let's look at the objectives and SOP for each phase. The move phase. The objective of the move phase is to take you to the place where you can find the animals you're hunting, or at least fresh signs of it. As I said, for static hunting, the move phase is planning and preparation. Use the 4 following steps to execute the move phase. Plan an appropriate macro route. Identify navigational macro guides. Move according to your macro plan, adjusting for micro factors. Combine the phase with the find phase, which brings us to the next phase, the find phase. You have 2 objectives in the find phase, and you cycle through 5 checks. The objectives are to find the animal and then to look for a suitable setup point. Here are the find phase checks that I use. Tune in to new terrain, scan in sectors, look, smell and listen for animal indicators, look for animals and confirm it's the right animal. The getting range phase means finding and reaching your setup point, which I'll get to in a moment. Consider these 4 general scenarios for the getting range phase. Abandon, set up, pursue or stalk to a point. For what I call static hunting, you'll go to the setup once you've found fresh tracks and a suitable setup point. For hunting on foot, Stalk to a point is probably what most people associate with this phase. You follow a 3-step procedure when stalking to point. Identify your setup point, plan your route using macro and micro factors, and move undetected to get into position. It's the same approach for the move phase, roughly, just on a smaller scale and with more emphasis on avoiding detection. Conceptually, the steps are simple. In reality, they can be challenging, but usually a lot of fun. Consider the following 3 checks to avoid detection when planning and executing your stalk. Stay out of sight, stay quiet, and hunt with the wind in your face. The setup phase. In this phase, you establish and check your setup point and establish your shooting position. The setup point is the location you shoot from, and you validate it in the following steps 1 to 4. Step 5 in the list I'll get to is where you build your shooting position. So in summary, you complete the setup phase with the following 5-step procedure. Confirm it's a safe shot, confirm it's a clear shot, confirm you're sufficiently concealed, confirm you'll hit and kill, and establish your shooting position. There's a whole lot of detail involved in those 5 steps, which I'll save for another time. The shoot phase is where you execute the shot based on the trajectory data you generated or validated in the setup phase. You complete the shoot phase in 5 steps. Adjust or check sights and chamber around. Confirm safe and clear. Shoot when ready. Maintain stock weld and sight picture. Reload the rifle and call the shot. And I'll cover that in more detail at the end of the video. Now for the follow-up phase. In this phase, you secure the animal and prepare the carcass for transport and consumption. Use this 4-step procedure to complete the follow-up phase. Locate the animal, dispatch if necessary and secure the animal, confirm the animal can enter the food chain, field process and prepare for transport. Once you've completed the follow-up phase, you're ready for more hard work, the joys of hunting. Venison just tastes better when you had to struggle through mud and rain to bring it back. This was a quick run through of the highest level of standard operating procedures for the hunting process. At this level, they guide you more to what to do, not so much how to do. That requires a deep dive, or several deep dives. On that note, I've got something for you. But first, let me say something important. I mentioned earlier there are several ways to use SOP, depending on where you are in your career as a hunter, and depending on where you are in the hunting cycle. There are 3 overall benefits that I want you to consider. A tool for planning, training and preparation and coordination, a reference point for optimization, and a set of procedures to help you execute in the field. Together, these approaches will help you avoid being the hunter with all the gear and no idea. Don't get hung up on the terms I've used. Focus on the high-level SOP and how they can guide you. If there's something you don't agree with, ask yourself how you can use the structure to improve your own as a reference point and a way of questioning what you've already done. And most importantly, spend enough time practicing that SOP and the associated skills become second nature. I'm working on more in-depth content on the hunting SOP and associated procedures. Check out the videos in the SOP playlist and subscribe to our channel to get notified on new procedures. I've also created a free quick reference guide with these procedures. Click here to download it and check out the free companion email course to give you more detail on each step. Thanks for watching.